Lock in all sports, all plays, all 5% best bets from your favorite sports memo handicapper now until Super Bowl 56 on February 6th, 2022 for only $799. As an added bonus, for a limited time, customers who take advantage of the Super Bowl to Super Bowl All Access Pass will receive $100 in wager bucks to use on any capper at sportsmemo.com over the next 12 months. Just head over to sportsmemo.com, pick your favorite handicapper in the experts drop-down menu, and lock them in through next year for only $2 a day.
Welcome, everybody, to WagerTalk Today. I'm Lawrence Presman. He's Teddy Covers, and we got Steve Merril in literally 2 minutes. He's got a prop bet for us on the Super Bowl. We're going to talk 2 college hoops games. Georgia at Auburn, Penn State at Wisconsin. But first, Teddy's B6 segment, and I hand it to you, my friend. Hope you're well.
Of course, we have Dave Sharapan joining us as well after Steve Merril's done. We'll talk Super Bowl preview with Dave. And, of course, we'll get a couple chances to flex. But first, let's get into it. A little bad beats, bad bets, and bad for the books. A recap of what happened in the sports betting world last night. And I'm telling you, from an NBA standpoint, last night was one to remember in terms of bad beats and tough beats. I don't know how many of these were truly brutal. They're all tough. How about the Lakers? It was a bad beat, and it was bad for the books. Lakers -5, bet up to -7. LeBron and AD both playing. It was a tight game the whole way. A 1-point game with under 2 to play, 98-97. And then LeBron hit a 3, and then he blocks Capella's layup, and then he hit another bucket, and then a Schroeder steal, and then LeBron missed, but Caruso gets the offensive rebound, and LeBron hits 4 for 4 from the free throw line, and then snares the rebound to steal the cover. Lakers bet up to 7. They win by 8. Tough if you had Atlanta, and certainly a bad result for the house. That's nothing compared to Cavs backers and another bad beat and bad for books. At least the books are getting burned on these, as well as the bettors. Cavs -4.5 down to -3.5 with Andre Drummond out. And the T-Wolves money showed. They're up 7 with 15 seconds left. D'Angelo Russell hits a 3, then a turnover, then a miss, but it gets tipped in. Cavs still hit 2 free throws, up by 4, 3.9 seconds left. The T-Wolves jack up a 3, it misses. But Naz Reid, the putback at the buzzer. Cleveland wins by only 2. If you had the Cavs, -3.5, -4. Brutal result right there. What about the Knicks, too? Maybe. They were leading with under 3 to play, tied 100-100 with 45 seconds left against Chicago. Bulls -4 in that game. Then a Bulls 3, a Knicks turnover, another Bulls 3, and the Knicks are fouling after another miss. 110-102 final. Knicks backers last night. No joy in that. I didn't even mention the Heat were up 10 with just over 3 to play, then lost outright in overtime. Miami was -7.5 at the close. They lost straight up. That was a tough beat. New Orleans was up 10. They were -2.5 against Sacramento in the fourth quarter. Then a 31-12 Kings closeout. Aaron Fox went nuts. That was a tough beat as well. Bad for the books in the NBA. Devin Booker back for Phoenix. All the money came on the Suns. The Mavs bet down to -2. They led by 2. It was going to be a push. And then Booker drains the game-winning 3. That, not a good result for the house. Real quick, college hoops. Couple of bad bets. Duke, -8 up to -11. They lost straight up at Miami. Texas Tech, -5.5 up to -7.5 against Oklahoma. The Sooners hung tough. Thought they might. They lost by only 5. Those were good results for the books, bad for bettors. And, of course, bad for books. That Texas Tech Oklahoma's total got steamed under. It was 25-18 at halftime. The over was dead already. And Louisville, -3 up to -5, even 5.5. Second half run out against Georgia Tech. The Cardinals won by 16. There you have it. A little bad beats, bad bets. Actually, a bunch of bad beats, bad bets, and bad for the books. Back to you, Mr. Prez.
What a way to start the day, everybody. Listening to Teddy go over 2 of my bad beats last night in the NBA. Love when my plays make his segment. Conversely, for every bad beat, there's a good win. And a shout out to Dave Koken. Anybody back in the Washington Capitals last night? Well, they had a bad beat too, up 3-0 in the second period. Lost 5-3, let 5 goals in. Dave Koken was on the Bruins. Nicely done. Shout out to Dave. It's $2 Tuesdays, everybody. Rob Vino, the $2 Tuesday expert over at WagerTalk. Rob, over the last 12 months, ranked number one in NBA at both Memo and WagerTalk. Rob's NBA is absolutely ridiculous, and he is rolling in it right now. Ben Burns, the $2 Tuesday over at Sports Memo. Ben is on a 19-5 hockey run, guys. Look, I'm on a 17-8 hockey run. I thought that was worthy of celebration. Ben is 19-5 his last 24. You can find his hockey play over at Sports Memo for only $2. Steve Merril joining us. Steve, my brother, I love having you on. Thanks for coming. Looks like you've got your hair cut. You're looking good.
It's been cut since I stopped hosting for you. Remember, Prez? I said I did it a week too late. And I was having to wet it down for 5 straight days. But yeah, it's holding up good, my man. I appreciate you noticing.
Oh, dude. I mean, come on. A handsome guy like you sitting next to someone that looks like Teddy. Not hard to notice. Steve Merril, your college hoops. You know, every week we have you on, and every week it's like, is this the week that he loses a play? Nope. 33-13 start to the college basketball season. Just a monster. Congratulations, man.
Yeah, thanks, Prez. And, it's going well when your team can score 18 points in the first half and still cover. I had Oklahoma last night. They lost by 5 as a 7-point dog, but a 57-52 game. It's always nice to have a 7.5-point dog. And, now 33-13 on the season. 2 best bets tonight. As you can tell, I don't put out a lot of college at 33-13, but I do have 2 of them tonight. And I'm going to go over another 2 games I was close to using here on the show for free in just a couple moments. But my 2 strongest best bets are ready right now at WagerTalk.com.
Well, let's leave the NFL proposition bet to the end and just want to
Sounds good.
mention to Teddy. You notice how Steve has already promoted his card today. So if I don't ask him at the end, I would appreciate if you just kumbaya me. Steve Merril,
Okay.
Georgia, Auburn. Yeah, okay is right. -9, man. You put this play up for the show last night. -9.5. We've had a move. Not as big as in the next game. Where are you going here?
Yeah, so last Thursday when I was on, guys, I used 2 college games, and they were both unders, and they won by a combined 60 points combined last Thursday. And then I missed my pay play by a couple baskets on the website. So I'm going to try to keep the hot streak here on these free plays going. But the 2 games I'm going to use, I was looking at last night, and the lines have both moved substantially since I sent them to you at 3 in the morning and like at 9 a.m. Eastern today. So that's why these aren't on the best bet card, but they are games I was looking at. I would still lean that way. We can call them maybe 1% opinions, if you will. The first one here, though, we're looking at. You want to look at Auburn and Georgia. It's the first one on the card at 7 Eastern. Let's start there and in schedule order. I was looking at the over in this one last night. It opened at 157.5. It was 158.5 when I sent it over. It's now 162.5, 163. Yeah. But I still like the over, guys. I mean, obviously we've given up some line value. That's why it's not now a 4% best bet for me. But hey, look, the viewers, several thousand viewers are getting this for free, and I still think it does have some value as maybe a 1 or 2% play. These 2 teams played a few weeks ago, mid-January, 172 total points, and it wasn't a fluke. They're 2 of the fastest-paced teams in the country. Auburn is averaging in the 160 range for their 9 conference games. They've actually scored more in the conference games than non-conference games, so they're not slowing down. And as you dig into that box score for mid-January, Georgia, they shot 50% from the free throw line. They missed 17 free throws. Auburn, they shot 5 for 20, 25% from three-point range, and they still totaled 172 points. So that's why this line has shot up 4 points today, but I agree with the move.
So we saw Auburn, we'll call it a fortuitous cover against Baylor over the weekend. Baylor went on a big run, and then Auburn made a couple of plays down the stretch to get in under the number. Are you worried at all about a little bit of a hangover? That was a huge game for Auburn, and there's a team that plays with pace. Are you worried about a hangover slowing their pace down a little bit today?
Yeah, I think there will be a hangover, Teddy. It's a great point, but I think you see that more on the defensive side of the ball. We've talked about a lot of times, you need intensity, you need focus to play hard-nosed half-court defense. Auburn, it plays at a fast pace, especially if they're flat and fatigued. I think they just don't play defense. I think they still want to run. Both teams get a lot of baskets down low and in transition, 2-point range. So if anything, I think a letdown could actually help the scoring in this one.
Steve Merril, everybody, 33-13 in college basketball. Steve, it's Flex Tuesday. The chat room is lit up. We need all our guests to flex. So before we get into the next game, do you want to flex something? Maybe your nostrils or...
Yeah, it's winter here on the East Coast, obviously, so I got the double layers on. If Joe notices, I do have a different color green. I still have the green pants on for Joe Ranieri. If anyone doesn't know what we're talking about, go to NBA tip-off from last Monday, the 22:30 mark for some Irish love with Kevin Dolan. But several people have done it. It's well worth it. But yeah, I got the shirt on here, so we can't do too much flexing. So I'll flex the promo for last week's NBA tip-off instead.
At least you tried. There's one, brother. Look, I can't even figure the line. There you go. Penn State, Wisconsin, -7. Now it's -8.5. Are you playing the side of the total here?
Well, of course, I was looking at the side because once again, it's moved several points, as you said. At least I'm on the right side. There's no debate. I'm on the sharp side in these games. And I guess, a 33-13 season, I guess I have been on the sharp side. But yeah, I was looking at Wisconsin in this one, and it's funny, Prez, when I sent it over late last night, early this morning, to be honest, at 3 a.m. Eastern, it was 7.5 Wisconsin. And even then, it was a little pricey based on my power ratings, but the setup was such a great setup. I'm like, look, I'm willing to give up a little bit of line value here, and I understand why the line's a little high. Fast forward 6 hours later, as you said, it's like 9.5 now. So it has priced me out of this game, but Wisconsin is the only way to play this one. One of the good things about the current COVID situation with all the scheduling this year in basketball are these quick back-to-backs. Last Thursday, one of those easy under winners I gave out on the show here was San Jose Air Force, and then they played again on Saturday. We have all this stuff to dig into with box scores and quick turnarounds. Wisconsin's one of the best teams in the country. They play at one of the slowest paces in the country. They play good defense. That's the perfect recipe for a quick revenge team back at home after losing. They led the game at Penn State a couple days ago by 3 at the half. They ended up losing by 10. Penn State plays pretty fast tempo. It was a high-scoring game at 152 total. So I would look at the under also, the under the 139 or so, because I do think Wisconsin's going to dictate their tempo here. So if you want to hedge that inflated point spread, I like Wisconsin, but the under makes sense as well. It's that quick zigzag here with the Badgers and the under after losing just a couple days ago at Penn State.
So I want to ask, you said something very interesting to me there. And you said Wisconsin's a really good team. And the more I watch Wisconsin, the more I don't think they're a really good team. And certainly they've been mediocre for the better part of the last month, a 500 level ball club in Big Ten play. How good is this Badger team? Because when Penn State beat them, there was nothing fraudulent about that win. Penn State was the better team. Why wouldn't that be the case again tonight?
Yeah, I maybe overspoke a little bit when I said a really good team. They're probably a 3 or a 4 seed right now in the NCAA tournament. So, that's probably not a really, really good team. But what I like about Wisconsin is one of my local teams I use every year in the tournament big time is Virginia. I like these half-court defensive teams in tournament-style games, focused revenge spots. So I guess what I should have said is they could be a really good team tonight. I like this spot for them. And I think Penn State forced that tempo, Teddy. It was a 152. It's about 15 points higher than the total tonight for the final, and Wisconsin doesn't like to play that way. Now, I know there's no fans, but they were still on their home court, so I think Wisconsin now back at home will be more likely to slow this game down tonight and dictate their style.
Steve Merril. Steve, Teddy Carmine and I came up with an idea to do a TikTok video aimed directly at the awesome females of WagerTalk. We were challenged to do something better. I don't know if we are going to be able to pull off better, but we're going to give it a try. And ideally, we're going to do it today. Do you want in? We got room for you.
So, Prez, I have never done a TikTok video in my life, and I've never even looked at TikTok. So this would be a hell of a way for me to make my debut. So, yes, I'm always up for stuff like that.
Okay, good. Well, the 4 of us guys will put together a TikTok video. We even have a song that's going to debut Teddy, should we talk about that at all?
No.
Okay. Steve, your NFL prop, total sacks you want to talk about. Look, I spoke about this prop in depth yesterday, and I'm going to wade in. I don't even know whether you like the under or the over, but I'm getting over 3.5, and I'm taking it. I think you're going to see Mahomes get sacked around 3 times, and I think Brady's going to get sacked a couple. I think we're going to get as high as 5 sacks in this game. So I'm really curious what your thoughts are.
Well, first of all, Prez, I apologize. I actually watched the whole first half of the show yesterday, and you must have done that at the end, I guess, because I did not know
Yeah,
you
it was. It was
covered
one
this
of the
yesterday.
miscellaneous ones.
Because I saw Teddy's big breakdown at the beginning, which I thought, the
No,
BBB
it was
at
on
the
the
beginning.
NFL presidential address, dude.
Okay. I was
No,
going
no,
to say,
no.
because I watched most of it, because I had to see my man Mark Lawrence. And by the way, Mark is such a professional. I love how he calls you Lawrence every time. It cracks me up. You got a guy, Mark Lawrence, calling Prez Lawrence, which nobody else does. So anyway, side note, tangent. I just love that. And he's as good as anyone's ever been in the industry, as we all know. But Prez, glad to hear you're on this side with me. I like the over as well. And it's also interesting to hear you say 3.5, Prez, because when I was looking at this last night, really dug into it deep because I'm doing some NFL videos later today for WagerTalk TV and all week, of course. You're seeing 3.5 with juice. You're seeing 4.5 plus money.
Yeah.
And I was even debating, like, what line should I use for the show? Because I really do think it could land 4, but I like over 4.5 plus money. Definitely like over 3.5. Hey, split them on both. That's a good way to get 4. If you like 4, play them both for half a unit. I think there will be some sacks. We had 3 sacks in that first game in mid-October. But keep in mind, KC was out to the fast 17-0 lead. I'm not sure how much we can really take away from that game because they got up to such a fast start. It wasn't a true game. I don't think this game plays out that way. But if you look at that earlier game, they might have only had 3 total sacks, but there were a lot of pressures. Kansas City, 1 sack, 10 pressures. Tampa Bay, 3 sacks, 15 pressures. So you had 25 pressures and only 3 sacks. Now, sacks are part of that, so 32 non-sacks that were pressures. So there's a lot of room for more sacks in this game. And Mahomes is mobile. If he's trying to get away, scramble, and if he gets tackled, it counts as a sack if it's behind the line of scrimmage. So I think that could happen. And we think back to Brady and the Falcons a few years ago, how awful, how immobile he was in that Super Bowl. So, yeah, I'm with you, Prez, on this one. Didn't know you were on it, but glad to hear it. And I like over the sacks in this game as well.
So my biggest concern and my only concern about this, well, I guess there's 2. One is that I haven't heard one person that likes the under sacks in this game. And that always concerns me. But the other is that we have 2 offenses that are designed to get the ball out of the hands of the quarterbacks quickly. Does that worry you at all for this one?
Both things worry me,
Lots of
Teddy.
short
And as you know, I love to fade the public. And like you said, I don't think I'm going to be able to use this on my NFL Super Bowl public video because it's definitely not a fade the public playing the over in any prop for that matter. One thing I will say, Teddy, though, is keep in mind both teams have had a week off to prepare since playing in mid-October. I do think that benefits the defenses. Mark Lawrence had that great stat yesterday here on the show about Andy Reid, playoff buys, 8 unders out of 9 times. So that shows he can prepare defensively. And I think the defense is after a fairly high. Keep in mind, that game went under in October, 51 points, under 56, 900 total yards of offense, over 700 yards passing. So the teams moved the ball really well. So I think we'll see some defensive adjustments that could lead to more sacks in the rematch.
Steve Merril, everyone. Steve, again, congratulations on your college basketball start, guys. He's got 2 college hoops best bets up at WagerTalk today. Make sure to check him out. Nobody is hotter and more consistent this college hoop season than Steve Merril. Get out of here, bro. Guys, Teddy's big game breakdown. It's on fire. We got to listen to what that is. I don't even know the game. I'm that excited to hear what Teddy has to say. Teddy, drink some water. Get into your zen. You're up in 20 seconds.
Tuesdays is known as $2 Tuesdays at WagerTalk.com and SportsMemo.com, where you can get the hottest handicappers, best bet, or daily package for only $2.
It is Big game breakdown time here on Wager Talk Today. Let's talk NBA on TNT tonight. The Clippers continuing their road trip in Brooklyn against the Nets. Right now, we're looking at the Clips -1.5. A little bit of money's come on the under in the last half hour. 242.5 down to 242, even 241.5 is popping up at many books, both here in Vegas and around the global world. From a total standpoint, the Nets have been an absolute one-way team. Okay, they're 9-1 to the over in their last 10 games. When you look at the numbers since getting James Harden, let's see, they had Harden for 9 games, 120.5 points per game during that span. Number 1 in the NBA in field goal percentage, number 1 in effective field goal percentage, number 1 in offensive efficiency. Defensively, of course, the Nets are now number 25 in the NBA. They're worse than that since acquiring Harden. And of course, the quotes are there for the Nets. I think defensively, we're going to start to figure it out. This is Kevin Durant. I think we'll continue to keep getting better, man. This was a tough one. We gave up 149 points on 108 shots for them. That's not looking great for us defensively, giving up that many points. But I've got faith in our team and our guys. We can start to put it together on both sides of the ball and continue to keep growing. That's all we can do. So Durant's quote says, yeah, we'll get better because, I don't know, because sooner or later we'll get better, which may not be the right thing against these Clippers. Now, the beauty of this total and the reason we're seeing under money in early betting action today, why it's gone down from 242.5, is the Clippers' pace. All right. Brooklyn's pace, fast. Top 5 pace team. The Clippers rank number 29 in pace. So they're not playing nearly as fast as Brooklyn or anybody else for that matter. So the markets have to adjust to the fact that Clips aren't playing as fast as everybody. But when the Clippers play a bad defensive team, they've been flying over the total. They're number 3 in the NBA in offensive rating, number 1 in 3-point percentage, number 1 in free throw percentage, number 4 in field goal percentage. So while the pace is slow, the efficiency is high. And against Brooklyn, we can expect the efficiency to be high. 149, 146 last time the Nets hit the floor. They've gone, like I said, 9-1 to the over the last 10. And the last 4 meetings between these two teams have all flown over the total. Take advantage of the fact that the pace is slow and that deflating this total. I think we see a real shootout, another real shootout. Let's look at Brooklyn and the LA Clippers. Over 241.5. Shop around and get the best of the number. There you have it. Big game breakdown. Back to you, Mr. Prez.
God, so much has changed in the NBA, Teddy. And not too long ago, I was nervous playing it over 191.5. Now we're giving out over 240s. Oh, my lordy Lord. Anyway, guys, remember it's $2 Tuesdays at Sports Memo and Wager Talk. Rob Vino, NBA play at Wager Talk. Ben Burns, $2 play over at Sports Memo and Hockey. Teddy, you got a promo. Teddy 30. Teddy 30. It's around till the Super Bowl starts. A month of all of Teddy's plays for $199. And guys, Teddy's way too humble to give that promo out himself, so I have to do it for him. Teddy 30, $199 for a month of all of your plays. Theodore, I know Joe just said something to me in my ear, but I didn't hear it. Do we have a Dave sighting? Oh, man, I'll tell you, Teddy, of all the segments, this one is my favorite. I don't know if that's a good thing because I have bad taste, but Dave Sharapan joining us. Dave, it's Flex Tuesday, baby.
Flex Tuesday is back.
Oh, yeah. The Macho Man, Randy Savage. Dave, I don't know what you do to me, man. You bring the worst out in the Prez. I think everybody missed all that. I was like imitating the Macho Man. I was flexing. How have you been?
Take a breath. Just I don't want any drama today. Please, no drama.
Oh, no. There's no drama, dude.
No drama. You got the orange shirt on, so you're bright, excited. I heard earlier some talk about a TikTok and you guys doing a TikTok. I will just say it's a bad idea. If I was making a line, I don't think you would be a big dog to pull it off. I'm just saying you can try, and I know you will because now you've been told you can't do it or you shouldn't do it.
Oh, is this
So
your
in that
reverse
regard,
motivation?
I know you're going to do it, and the yes price of you doing it is minus 8,000. So I can't wait to watch it. I mean, that's what
So
that's
you don't
what, that's
even
what you
think
do.
we'll do it? You don't even think it'll get done?
The yes
Well-
price on the will you do it is minus 8,000. That means he thinks we're 80-1 favorites to get it done. And
Well,
now it being
put me
good is
down,
another
put me
question
down.
entirely.
Dave, put me down for $10 that we will not get it done, please.
Always looking to make
10.
moves. That's what he does. That's
Dave,
perfect.
Why would you bet $10? Why would you bet a dime there? $10. If you bet a dime, then you're like, oh, I'm really busy today, can't get it done. Oh, sorry, and then he owes you 80 grand.
Yeah, I don't want to
10
break
bucks.
this guy, dude. We need him
10
as a
bucks.
guest. He's a father of 3. There's so much estrogen around him. You gotta feel for him, dude.
Oh,
my
you guys are
Lord.
both
Dave,
girl dads. Yeah, sure. I get that.
I know,
Yeah,
both of
I don't
us.
have that. I'm a boy dad.
Yeah, and your boy is awesome. Anyway, Teddy, pull some actionable info out of him, would you?
All right, Dave, give me some actionable info. No, I'm just kidding.
Good
No,
job.
real quick, last week we had Barnaby on. We were a hockey show. We brought the gloves, and Prez didn't want to drop them, and we talked about the Canadian teams division games going over. Since that, there's been 12 games since that show. The overs are 7-4-1. So I wanted to pull a little Ralph, a little numbers-based actionable info for you. Did a little research. I said, just blindly bet these things over. There's a 6.5 over minus 130 today, Ottawa, Edmonton. There's going to be a 7 sooner than later with these bad teams, Teddy.
Yep.
I'm telling you, you'll see a 7 total in the NHL, maybe in the next week or two.
Now, do you think there's a scenario in which a book would move, whether it's so much at 6.5, they're going to move from 6.5 minus 130 or minus 135 up to 7, or if it's going to get to 7, it has to open 7?
It's a great debate in the room. We used to sit there all the time because in hockey and baseball, the totals, it's a big value. Like moving a total in an NBA game or a football game has no meat. Like 44 to 45. Like there's a couple key numbers in the NFL, but in basketball, you move the number. I mean, it's never a thought. Now with the juice, 6.5 over 40 would be the number where you go, why are we giving someone 20 on the other side? So I think 6.5 over 30 gets to 35 maybe, and you go, all right, that's it. Just go to 7 and get some under bets. Lay the juice under. So prefer to open 7, yes, and not have to get off of that number and just move the juice. But at some point, somebody's going to have to take a stand and open the 7, absorb all the under bets because it'll be the only off-market number. And then when the game finishes, 8-5, like it did the other night in Edmonton, you do the book justice and you win all the bets. So it's a good question, and it doesn't always. It depends, like everything else in this business.
Well, it sounds to me like it's more likely for the scenario to be someone's going to open with a 7 than, okay, this game just keeps getting steamed over, and now some book's going to go to 7 and then take a chance of getting sided if it lands 7.
Yeah, that's the preferable method, and the one with the least amount of grief afterward when the game finishes 4-3, and you've opened 6.5, you took all over bets, you went to 7 under a quarter, and they laid it, and then the game finishes 4-3, and you have a meeting in the morning going, what are you doing? You sound like Prez, handicapping the games and putting numbers out. That's what he sounds like. So,
hey, who invited you on this show? You come on the show and you insult me?
I did.
Dude, I'd like to challenge Dave Sharapan to a fight in the ring on the undercard of Jake Paul versus whoever.
Oh,
okay.
Now look at
Bring
this.
it,
Now,
Dave.
you forget about TikTok videos. That's a video right there. Look, I brought the red. I found the Red Wings hat because I know Johnny Detroit watches the show and has comments all the time. So I brought a Red Wings Detroit hat. I got it out of the trash can. Nobody wants these hats. These are on the table in the stores for $2 a piece, like $2 Tuesday. This is where you get the Red Wings hat. You want to do a video, me and you, Lawrence? Let's go.
Dave
So
Sharapan, really
I'm setting the number.
Teddy,
all right.
What's the number, Teddy?
So let's see. We have a guy from Pittsburgh and a little Jewish kid from South Africa. I got Sharapan minus 500 minimum.
I thought he was Canadian. What's the drama?
I
all
am
the
South
Canadian
African,
stuff.
Dave Sharapan.
He plays hockey.
Teddy, you set me up for two unbelievable jokes there, and I'm not going in anywhere near either of them. But I should tell you them later. I'll just get in so much trouble there. Dave, before we get into Super Bowl stuff, real quick, everybody, because Dave was talking about NHL line moves and are we going to see a 7? Guys, if you're playing a handicapper and they're releasing their plays at night, check to make sure and bet them at night, because over the last 3 to 4 days, overnight, we have had radical line moves, especially on the totals of games. You are seeing games being moved half a line almost every night. So be wary of that, everybody. Dave, Super Bowl, do you have some prop bets you're hearing about, seeing, feeling, want to give out some info to our listeners?
I'll tell you what, I was listening earlier, and I heard the talk about the sacks over. You guys are all against all the sharp guys. They bet the sacks under pretty much every game, and this is a Sunday night prop that they hammer consistently. And you see the number. If you try to even float a 4.5, they bury you with under money. 4 is the most common number. If you guys see a 3.5, which, you got to do some shopping. This is one of those just discussions we just had about the hockey totals. 3.5 and 4 in sacks, it's likely to fall 4. It's very likely to fall 4. 2 apiece or 3-1 is the score. I mean, that's what it's going to happen most likely. And the sharp guys know a lot of the public play comes in later. I mean, they play under in the sacks early in these props and then let it go up. And then they come back Sunday, the day of the game, and try to get it more. If it moves, I mean, as the book, if you want to get over bets, just put 3.5. You can put over minus 160. They're going to bet over because there's a 4 or 4.5 somewhere else, not because they know anything. So just be aware that, the sharp side is always not like the right side to win. Sometimes it's just a better number. And, they're betting something this way to get something later. So don't be misguided by that. I think that the under 1.5 for yards, shortest touchdown, I think that's the way it's worded. That's one that should be bet every year. There's a 1-yard touchdown in so many games, and it's underpriced at the beginning, and it gets hammered quick by a lot of guys that I respect. That's one for sure. And then the 3 consecutive scores in a game that's, totals 56. Will the same team score 3 consecutive times? That's another one that they play consistently when it's offensive teams. They play the yes. And, the guy that comes in town from, Toronto, Omaha, wherever they're here, and they go, oh, well, who's going to score 3 consecutive times? And they bet the no. So that's one of the ones that the public kind of falls into the trap of betting the wrong side.
You want to go, Lawrence? You got another one?
Well, no, actually, I love that talk about the 3 unanswered because it feels like it won't happen. It feels like, well, this team gets the ball and that team gets the ball and back and forth and back and forth. And you need to stop a team twice to score 3 times, except if a team gets the ball back to back in that second half. But yeah, Dave, it happens a lot. But
it happened for both teams in the Super Bowl last year. But again, the Super Bowl stayed under, and the 49ers had 3 scores in a row, and KC had 3 scores in a row. So it wasn't even a crazy offensive game, and both teams got to that. And of course, that's why you have to lay a little bit of juice with that one. That's one I like as well, Dave.
Dave, I do want to ask you one quick question because,
Yep.
7-8 years ago, everyone was betting no safety, regardless of minus 2,000. Here's my 2,000. No safety. Things have changed over the last few years. What are your thoughts on that? I know that bet has got an insane amount of juice, but where do you go with that bet now?
As the book, you know what guys are going to bet. These props are such an interesting thing every single year, and they've grown nationally with interest, but betting wise, they're the same. They've been the same now for, since I was at the M a decade ago. The same guys would come in and they would bring bags of money and they would bet the same things. The no safety is a consistent bet, no matter what the juice is. So,
yeah.
As the books, we put that no price so we know they'll lay it because we want that money. And then everybody comes in the week of the game and bets the yes. Everyone, because it's way more fun to bet plus $9 than it is to lay 1,600. Like there's no fun. Even though if you could tell people at the counter, I'm going to guarantee that you will win this bet. You just have to lay this amount. You have to lay $16 to win $1. But there's not going to be a safety and you're going to win. And they'll go, nah, I want to bet the yes. I'd rather root for that. Like, so that's what I've been listening to this same nonsense and drivel for over a decade. I talked about it yesterday in the video that went out on my thing. Like bags of money come in this week and they literally do not want the winner. They want to pick it and they already know. I mean, we got guys in the chat room right now. Like it's making Rogaine jokes and all these different things. Like, everyone knows the answer, and you still don't want to do it. Like, I know I'm bald, and I welcome it. It's beautiful. So you tell them, yes, bet the no. Prez, I'm telling you, bet the no. Sometimes it loses. Like, when it loses, it hurts. Like, if you're laying 1,600, the sharpest guys in the world lost on the first play of the game when Denver and Seattle
3 years in a row.
Safety, right? Right.
And that's
3 years in a row.
3 years. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but I mean, for 54 years, how many times was there a safety? So they're still ahead if you bet it every year, but there were no props back then. So I think
and
with
value
the consistency and bet it.
And value wise, it makes total sense. Bet no safety because even at 20-1, it hasn't happened over 20 games. There's a safety almost 0 times. Teddy, take over, bro.
Sure. Just a few minutes left here with Dave Sharapan. And Dave, I want to talk a little bit about a concept you brought up before when it comes to 3.5 sacks versus 4 sacks versus 4.5 sacks and where books can attract money. With what's happening with GameStop and the stock market over the last week and a half. I remember in the arena football marketplace where it wasn't liquid enough and it was fairly easy to manipulate the line when you wanted to get down big bets. Does that happen in the Super Bowl prop betting markets where there's line manipulation in order to get more money, or you don't even need to manipulate the lines? You're going to get the odds you want anyway by Sunday morning.
Yes. To answer your question, yes, there has to be. Just what I've seen, and taking the bets this early, when you leave it up this long and it stays the same, and then all of a sudden you see it moving, you see maybe other books moving because they see this book moving or they're checking this. Like, there's definitely manipulation. There's definitely people betting stuff. The interesting thing this year is you can only have 25% capacity. And before Prez gives me the 25% comment, that means you have 100 people in a room at a party. Now you can only have 25 because of the restrictions. So will you have as many people to offset the GameStop thing of, the sharp guys are moving the number, the public isn't coming in to bet the bad number. So now when you watch the volatility in the books and the props, I think you got to be really careful of assuming one is a sharp play, one is a public play, and just look at the number for what it is and what you think the right side should be, and then make your wager accordingly.
Great info, of course, from veteran oddsmaker Dave Sharapan, a weekly guest here on Wager Talk Today. Last question before we let you go, Dave. Where's sharp money coming in hoops tonight? Anything actionable for our viewers when it comes to college basketball or the NBA?
Let's see. I didn't actually look at any NBA. Steve had it covered pretty good. So,
Yeah, Steve
no,
did
there's been.
college
It's
basketball.
funny. I look at the NBA every morning when the lines open, and there's nothing. Nothing happens, and that used to never be the case. So, no, I got nothing. Sorry, boys. No actionable info there, but I'm ready for Prez.
Dave, I got to tell you super quick. So you know how Teddy lives to argue with me. I mean, any opportunity, any time, if I miss a line, he'll tell me I didn't prepare for the show, etc., etc. So last night I send a text to Teddy and Carm. Guys, I got a great idea for a TikTok. And I spell it TICTOC. So Teddy responds, "You can't even research the right way to spell TikTok?" Literally. And I text him, I'm like, dude, we're not even on air and you're freaking starting with me. Oh my God.
Listen, Prez,
No,
I don't
yeah,
know
I
what
was
it
laughing.
is. Sometimes you just bring it on. Like, you don't even mean to do it. Like,
I
people
know.
just want to
I know.
argue with you. It's a
I know.
big burden to bear. And you have big shoulders and you're getting bigger arms every day with
Oh,
working
you're
out.
so kind.
Someone has to carry the load. You do as good a job as anybody.
Dave, what do you got to promote?
The usual stuff at Sportsbook Consigliere, at Sports BK Consig. Joe can't spell either, talking about spelling TikTok. He never spells it right on the graphic, but that's okay. Joe's having trouble with the challenge with the keyboard. It's at GT Cash Consider is my podcast. It's going to be rebranded. It's going to be redone. We're doing a bunch of things there. Prez, I have you scheduled for the hockey talk. I mean, we can come on. You just can't
get out of
babble.
here.
You know, you're coming
Goodbye,
on.
Dave Sharapan. We'll see you next Tuesday, brother. You know what time it is?
Flex time.
Time for the Prez to get put into the penalty box. Oh, yeah. Teddy, here I sit mad as hell in a penalty box. All I want to do is, no one wants to listen, so all I can do is think. The question today is Tom Brady a dink? Now, I'd like doing this in rhyme, but I did not have the time. Okay, I got one extra sentence out of that. Teddy, I got to tell you, man, I'm listening to the news and it's like, what the hell are people talking about? Why the hate for Tom Brady? Why are people sick of Tom Brady? Tom Brady is as good a dude as you will ever meet. I mean, come on, man. This guy has restructured his contracts many times so the Patriots can add guys. Of course, they add him on defense. This guy is loyal. This guy's a father, a family man. This guy is friends with Peyton, his rival. You've never heard anybody come out with bad things to say. But most importantly, Teddy, this guy has consistently covered like 60% of the time from start to finish. And as a bettor, that's all we can ask. I love Tom Brady. I have a man crush on Tom Brady. When people ask me, Prez, is there anybody that you would rather be than you? Who is the one person you would want to be on the planet? The answer, unequivocally, is Tom Brady. Anyway, free pick for today. Yesterday's pick was a winner. Today we're going right back. Minnesota and Colorado over the total of 6 points. These guys played 2 games in a row. First one was 5-1 for Colorado, so pushed on 6. Second one was 4-3 Minnesota. I like the fact that Minnesota won the last game. I expect a big output from Colorado tonight. I think Colorado's the best team in hockey, Teddy. They don't have it going yet, but they will. Their last 4 games, they put up a 3, a 5, a 3, and a 7. They're the 5th highest scoring team in the league this year, number 1 last year. And Minnesota, they're not the same team as last year. This is a team that is putting up goals. I like over the total of 6 in the mini Colorado game, and that's me. I'm now out of the penalty box.
No, you're
Teddy,
back in the
what a
penalty
great
box.
What? Go back in?
You're back in the
You like
penalty
it?
box because you didn't recheck your line before you gave your thing. That's 5.5 everywhere right now. You can even find 5.5 unders.
It was 6, Eddie. No chance. No, I'm going right now. I
I'm looking at
sat
it.
down and did this literally right before the show begun. Colorado. Oh, it's dropped to yes. I got a 5.5. Dude, it was 6 literally an hour ago. Anyway,
I'm looking.
okay, do
I'm
what you
gonna
want.
find
But
that.
yeah, guys, great. 5.5. I'd like that to be a client play, frankly. That really works out well. I'm going to be betting the crap out of that play, Teddy. What do you think? Should I do the penalty box segment in rhyme from here on in?
There were 6s this morning for about 8 minutes.
Okay, Teddy, move on.
Okay.
Okay, should I do the segment in rhyme all the way through? What do you think?
No.
Okay. He's Teddy Covers. I'm the Prez. Guys, Steve Merril, shout out to him. He likes the over on total sacks. He likes the over in the Georgia-Auburn game. He likes Wisconsin, even after the line move. Teddy, your big game breakdown, what was the summary?
The summary was we're going to look at the over in the Nets versus the Clippers tonight, 241.5.
And I'm on the over 5.5 now in the Colorado Minnesota game. Shout out to Dave Sharapan, Joe Ranieri, Steve Merril, Teddy Covers. Guys, tomorrow, Kelly Stewart joining us right at the top of the show, Art to Caesar. We'll see you all tomorrow. Teddy, I'll call you soon about our TikTok. Please take us home.
Enjoy the games and good luck. We'll be back again tomorrow, right here, 9 a.m. Pacific time, noon on the East Coast on WagerTalk Today. Between now and then, enjoy the games and good luck tonight.
Luck in all sports, all plays, all 5% best bets from now until Super Bowl 56 on February 6, 2022 from your favorite WagerTalk handicapper for only $1,200. That's versus the regular price of $19.99. This discount comes out to just $3 a day. As an added bonus, customers who take advantage of the Super Bowl to Super Bowl All Access Pass will also receive $200 in wager bucks. Use it any handicapper at WagerTalk over the next 12 months. Just head over to WagerTalk.com, pick your favorite handicapper in the experts drop-down menu, and lock them in through next year for only $100 a month.